Okay, hello everybody. It is the afternoon of January 16th, 2026, and wanted to address Trump's claims that he has brought in, I believe most recently he's been saying about 20 trillion in investments. Now, there's a little bit of a split in terms of how it's presented. The White House website lists around $9 trillion. Trump was saying 17 trillion, then he upped it to 20 trillion. When Trump talks about it, he says it in the past tense, as if that money has already been invested. When Carolyn Levitt talks about it, she's much more careful with her wording and says, well, he's secured those commitments. Now, if you've watched prior videos of mine, you know that what I've been saying is that these commitments are largely fake. They're not real. What Trump pressures other countries to do is to announce an investment. He is not actually really worried about whether or not any money is actually invested. It is the announcement he wants, and whether or not the investment ever happens is largely relevant to him. Now, that does not mean foreign countries are not investing in the United States. Throughout my entire life, foreign countries have invested in the United States, and they will continue to do so for many, many years into the future. But Trump has been presenting, when Trump himself says it, he presents it very much as if that this has already happened, these investments. His White House spokeswoman says that, well, he's secured the commitment to the investment. So it depends on exactly how you're going to look at this and whose words you're going to take. I'm going to deal with the president's words, but nonetheless, I wanted the United States government tracks foreign direct investment in the United States, and we actually put out numbers every quarter to say what has been invested previously. Generally, things run about I guess really, yeah, a little over 3 months behind. So they're telling you about what happened the quarter before the last one. So we now have data for the first 3 quarters of 2025. I ran through the numbers and I totaled it all up. And through 2025, the 3 quarters, if you combine the number, we're at about 798 billion in foreign direct investment. Now remember, Trump is talking about 17 trillion to 21 trillion. We're at 798 billion through the end of September 2025. Now, context: 798 billion. Is that a lot? Is that a little? I went through the data, and what I find is that the foreign direct investment in the United States is a very volatile data set. It has big spikes up and down year to year. So what I did was I compared it to the immediate preceding year, which is 2024. During the same time period, which is Q1, 2, and 3 of 2024, foreign direct investment in the United States was about 839 billion. So we are currently off the 2024 pace by about 41 billion or so. Now, by historical standards, and you can Google it, look it up. I think St. Louis Fed has the charts. What you actually see is that more or less 2025 is shaping up to be a very historically normal year. It's not particularly high, it's not particularly low, it's normal, it's kind of average, so to speak, as average as this chart can be. So I would not say it's a particularly good year, it's not a particularly bad year, I would say it's fine, we're doing just fine. Nothing extraordinary, nothing exceptional, nothing even remotely close to what the president is saying is coming in. Now, if you want to get an idea, what is an grand slam home run year look like? Well, the biggest year we ever had, through the data I could find anyway, was 2015. In 2015, during that same time period, Q1, 2, and 3, we brought in about 1.6. Sorry, I've got everything written down here. Brought in about 1.6 trillion in direct foreign investment. So roughly double what we have brought in this year, in 2025 during the same period, and also roughly double what we did in 2024. So if you want to get an idea of, well, what's the big spectacular, what's the gold standard that you'd want to achieve, it would be 2015, and we would be bringing in about twice as much as we currently are. Now, we don't have the Q4 data. We'll have to wait and see what that says it is. But in terms of assessing Trump's claim that he has secured all these huge investments, I would rate that claim as false. There appears to be absolutely nothing in the data to support it. And again, remember, he's presenting it as, it's happening now. It is not. Now, to be fair, we are not having a bad year for foreign direct investment at all. We're having what is frankly a fairly average year. We are doing just fine on that front. So please don't misinterpret it as me saying like, we're somehow having a uniquely bad year. We're not. We're doing fine. We are doing nothing even close, not even a reasonable fraction of the kind of numbers that he's saying. Remember, as what I have said, which is that Trump does not actually, it is not the investment that he wants. It is the announcement of the investment. We as Americans are used to the idea that when there is an announcement, the announcement is the prelude to the thing itself happening. You announce, yeah, you watch the NFL draft, they announce, with the 7th overall pick, we're drafting the linebacker out of, Penn State. Well, then that guy is drafted. That's kind of how we're used to things. We announce the winner of the Oscar is, Tom Hanks. Well, okay, then he's in 1 second, he's going to walk up on stage. They're going to hand him that award. So we see announcements as largely indistinguishable from the thing that is announced itself. This is not how Trump world operates. It is, you get the announcement and then, whatever. It doesn't really happen. You may remember the ones with, Qatar and Saudi Arabia. They were announcing investments that literally exceeded their national GDP. No. And you may remember that, the EU did their big announcement, or whatever it was. Mostly 600 billion seems to be the number he likes the most. They announced it, and then a couple days later said, "Yeah, we don't actually have any mechanism for doing that." So, and then Japan did theirs, which was like 500 or 600 billion. And then the Japanese media was pressing the government on, like, what do you mean? And what they said, well, we just expect over the next several years, Japanese banks will make loans in this amount at normal market rates. So not really an investment, just traditional banking activity. By the way, Japanese banks have been lending in the United States for decades. So either way, I would say fact check false. But otherwise, we're having a fine year for foreign direct investment. All right, bye-bye.